Welcome back to the Raven at the Destin Golf and Beach Resort here in Miramar Beach, Florida, as our first group's on their way to the 18th tee. Groups representing UT Arlington, ULM, and Troy. These guys started out, they were the first group off the number 1 tee, so they were finishing up play here at the 18th. Getting a good look there at Jake Greenspoon of UT Arlington. And there you see our group. That is, that's the group that will be starting at 9 when we come to coverage there, and we'll also be coming to coverage there on 9 pretty quickly. But this is our group that's here on 18. Jake Greenspoon of UTA, Thibaut Santini of ULM, and Ike Alexander of Troy. And we can tell you that a couple of these players could be a factor in the team race, and we'll talk more about that team race in just a little bit, but it is going to be very close for that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th spot in the match play tomorrow. As this is Thibaut Santini of ULM. He is 9 over par through his first 15 holes today. He's got 1 birdie, but he's also got a couple of double bogeys on his card, along with 6 bogeys. So a struggle today for the sophomore from Paris, who shot 78-78 in his first 2 rounds. Players here at the 18th will be trying to do what they can to cut off some distance on the big dog leg to the right that has water on the right side. And then there's water on the left side as you get up close to the green. And the pin here is also cut on the left. It's only 8 paces on from the left side of the green, so that water could come into play. Also very much in the front today, as this is Ike Alexander of Troy. 78-78 in his first 2 rounds. He is 3 over par for the day with 1 birdie and 4 bogeys. Birdie the par 5 7th hole. And his tee shot is apparently safely down, as the 3rd player in this group to hit will be Jake Greenspoon of UT Arlington. And UT Arlington right now is in 2nd place in the team race. And Greenspoon is 4 over on the day. He's got 3 birdies on his card, 4 bogeys, and he took a triple at the par 4 9th hole. The 9th hole continues to be an issue for these players all week long, as we'll go. Speaking of the 9th hole, let's go over to the 9th. And this is Josh Edgar of Georgia State. First to tee off here on the 9th. Josh is 2 over through 14 holes. He started out with a double bogey today and doesn't like that tee ball. You can tell from his reaction. This will be Aaron Ramos of Little Rock. Little Rock also has one of the best team rounds of the day going. They're 7 under par as a team. Ramos is even through 14 holes. 2 birdies. The only blemish on his card is a double bogey at the par 4 5th hole. Otherwise, he's played par or birdie everywhere else. So a good solid round for Aaron Ramos after 81-75 his first 2 rounds. Little Rock opened up in 12th place today out of the 12 teams. And they're still there, even though they have a -7 today as far as the team score. 9th hole has played long and has played hard for the first 2 days. Might be a little easier today with the pin located in the front right to take some of the water out of play on the left side. And Aaron didn't look like he liked his tee shot very much, but it's maybe more in play than the previous tee shot of Josh Edgar, as Joel Wyndon of Arkansas State is the 3rd member of this group. Wyndon is 1 under par for the day. He had 3 bogeys on his first 6 holes, rather 3 birdies on his first 6 holes. He's got 4 birdies for the day. Had a double bogey at 18. It's the big blemish on his card today. He also bogeyed the par 3 16th hole. But is 1 under on this side, hitting an iron here off the tee at number 9, and that can make number 9 a very long hole. but it's also probably a safe play with all the trouble that's down there around the green. And you see our group that just hit their tee shots here, a junior, a sophomore, and a freshman in this final group. And all three of these teams are also trying to get their way into contention for one of those top 4 spots. Coastal Carolina is pretty much locked up the number 1 spot and the number 1 seed going into the match play tomorrow, as you get a look at our 9th hole and all of that trouble that's on the left side, all that water that comes into play both off the tee and especially down around the green. Not a pretty big landing area if you can manage to hit it straight. That water may not come into play on the tee ball, but obviously does on the second shot. Now, in the past couple of days, that pin has been way out there on the left on that peninsula that's sticking out. Today, the pin's cut over on the right side and pretty much in the front. So players will at least have a little bit better attack angle at the pin today. Last 2 days, number 9 has played, it is a par 4, but it has played over 5 on the average. First day it played at 5.15. Yesterday, even when the conditions are a lot better, it played at 5.1. And you see our numbers through the first 2 rounds, a grand total of 2 birdies out of 120 rounds from the 60 players. And look at the bogeys and look at the double bogeys. There have actually been more double bogeys than there have been pars here at the 9th. We'll go to the 18th. Second shot of Ike Alexander of Troy. Pins on the front right today here at 18, so a little bit more accessible, but that bunker also comes into play, and that bunker swallows up the first shot of the day here by these groups finishing up as Alexander hits his second into that bunker. This will be Jake Greenspoon of UT Arlington. Greenspoon 78-74 his first 2 rounds. The senior from Houston, Texas. This is his 3rd Sun Belt Conference tournament. Finishing up here on 18, and he's hit it close, just over the bunker right there on the front edge, and a nice shot in by Jake Greenspoon, and he's got a legitimate run at a birdie here to finish things off. Thibaut Santini of ULM opened up with a 78-78, and we talked about his struggles today. Has not been a good 3rd round for the sophomore from Paris. And his second shot on the way to the flag, and he had it right on line, but it's going to back up just back on the fringe, but that's still handy. Pin is cut 10 paces from the front edge, and that front edge is actually farther over to the left of your screen, so it's a little bit closer there around the pin. You see number 18, first shot carries over water to a very narrow landing area, but if you can hit that landing area, there are some areas on this green that you can go after, especially with the pin today. It's away from the water on the left. Long enough drive will carry more and more of that water and leave you a shorter second shot. There's also a little grove of trees that could come into play that's just to the right of the green, and we get a chance to see those as we swing up toward the 18th green. And you see that little clump of trees that's on the right side there as we'll go back to the tee here at 18. And this tee shot by Mac Murphy of Troy. Tanner Gore of UTA will be next to hit off the 18th green. UTA right now, as we said, is in 2nd place in the team competition, so every one of these shots is important, and Gore's 3 under for the day. He's got 6 birdies on his card today, 6 birdies and 3 bogeys, and he's got 3 birdies on each side. So a big round for Tanner Gore today, and that has helped put UTA in position to possibly get one of those 4 match play spots. Top 4 teams advance to the match play tomorrow. The other 8 teams will complete play here this afternoon. Gore went 76-75 in the first 2 rounds. on his way to a better round today, as you see our number 2 group coming through, the number 4 players for these 3 teams. Senior, a junior, and a freshman in play, as Hogan Airy will be next up to hit there. But before that, we'll go down to the 18th green, and this will be Ike Alexander out of the bunker. Chops it up. Pretty good bunker shot. Has left himself a little sliding downhill putt for a par here at the 18th green. Quickly will switch over to the 9th. And this is Josh Edgar. Nope, not Josh Edgar. Who is that over there? Hard to see all the way through the trees. That's Aaron Ramos of Little Rock. Just figured out who that was as he's trying to figure out how to play this. I don't know if he's in the water or if he's in some natural grass, but he's having to turn around and hit it left-handed. Back up to the 9th green and a long birdie putt. Back to 18, rather. Tap in par for Tebow Santini as we go back to 15. And Aaron Ramos just had to, I don't know if he's already punched it out in the fairway or not, but he had to turn around and hit that left-handed and turn the club around because it was up against a tree. So creative shot making by the freshman for Little Rock from Goodyear, Arizona. As our first group making it down toward the green here at number 9, and we'll go back to 18, and Jake Greenspoon just carried the bunker, and this is for a closing birdie here at the 18th. Every shot becomes important now, and Greenspoon runs that one in for a birdie here at 18. Santini is already finished up, and now Ike Alexander for Troy will be trying to save par out of the bunker here at 18. First groups coming through for these 3 schools. These schools 4th, 5th, and 6th in the team rankings coming into today. Those team rankings have changed an awful lot during this 3rd round. Par putt for Alexander, a freshman from Florence. And rolls in his saving par putt. So a nice saving par for Ike Alexander here on the 18th. Over to 9 as the first group. This is the second group of the day. First group's already down in the fairway, and this group will be Matthew Cole of Arkansas State, Max Herman of Georgia State, and Logan Pate of Little Rock, number 4 players for these 3. Logan Pate of Little Rock getting set to hit his tee shot as we look back up the fairway, and now back up the fairway at number 9. And this is Josh Edgar, and he might be the hottest player on the course. He's working on 3 straight birdies and hitting his second shot in here to the 9th hole. We'll get a chance to see if the 9th is much more receptive today with that pin cut over on the right side. Players able to attack it maybe a little more, and Josh Edgar certainly did. That's going to spin back a little bit, but he's got a run at a 4th straight birdie here at the 9th hole. Back over to the 18th. This is Hogan Airy of ULM. And he's found that front bunker. Back over to 9, and having to chip out from under looks like Joel Wyndon of Arkansas State, but he's able to roll it up on the putting surface. He's in trouble off the tee, so now he'll have that left for a long par for the Arkansas State player, who's making his third appearance in the conference tournament. Back to 18. This is Tanner Gore of UT Arlington, junior from El Paso. Gore's 3 under par through his first 15 holes today. As we said, he's got 6 birdies on his card. And his second shot on the way in at the 18th, and he is going to find and go through the trees on the right side. So a couple of balls over on the right side here out of this final group. And, of course, the pin's over on the right, so not quite as far distance to navigate, but might not be as much green to work with as you get a chance to see another look at 18. And heavily bunkered down around the green, and also in the landing area if you don't play it farther out to the right, especially on the tee shot. If you try to cut off more of the water, you take those bunkers out of play, but you can also bring that water into play if you don't catch everything on the drive. So we have action going at both the 9th, and right behind that palm tree is our 18th green. This is our group that's over on the 9th hole right now. Joel Wyndon of Arkansas State, Josh Edgar of Georgia State, and Aaron Ramos of Little Rock. They are up around the green here, and this will be Aaron Ramos hitting his third just off the putting surface. Much more accessible pin here today, so Ramos actually has this is not one that would not be surprised to run it up close, as he's putting off about 4 feet off the fringe. Ramos with a very solid round going, and his birdie putt's going to come up just about 2 feet short. He'll have just that little bit left for closing par. Unofficially even par for the day. As we'll go over to 18. Hogan Airy just came out of the bunker. So the two playing partners are over to the right as Hogan will mark his ball. And both Tanner Gore of UT Arlington and Mac Murphy of Troy are over here on the right side of the green. Looks like it's going to be Tanner Gore will be first up, a little bit farther away. Get a look at everybody around the course as back on the 18th tee. That's Nick Thornton of UTA hitting his tee shot at the top left of your screen. Top right of your screen, it's his teammate Tanner Gore, who's still looking at his shot. Over on the 9th green, Joel Wyndon just missed his par putt of Arkansas State. And now Josh Edgar will be going for what would be his 4th consecutive birdie. Top left on the 18 tee, that's Guillaume Fananel of UL Monroe. Guillaume is 2 under par for the day. He's got 4 birdies, just 1 double bogey, and I'll give you one guess where that double bogey came. Yep, it was at the 9th hole. But no problem on the 9th right now, bottom right of your screen. No problem for Josh Edgar as he's got a birdie putt here. This is a hole that's only given up 6 birdies in the entire tournament. And this is for 4 in a row. And that's going to stay out on the left, or the rather the right lip. But Edgar with a par at 18, finishing off a very solid round. And Joel Wyndon will be trying to finish off a bogey, and then Aaron Ramos will have a putt for par. I said 5. I was thinking of another hole. The number 9 has only given up 2 birdies, 1 each day. Yesterday played at 5.1, played even higher on Sunday. It was at 5.18. But again, a little bit easier for these players to find the green and find the hole location here today. Nick Thornton of UTA is having to hit a second tee shot off the number 18 tee. That's in your top left of your screen. So he had to hit a second tee ball there. Dean Martin of Troy has already hit his tee shot. On the 18th green, top right, this is Hogan Airy. Came out of the bunker, as you see, finishing off for par at 9. And Hogan Airy rolling in a par putt, top right of your screen, out of the bunker. Hogan Airy of ULM saves par. Aaron Ramos got his par at number 9. This is Tanner Gore of UTA. Would miss the green to the right with his second shot. Made it to here with his chip and now trying to save par. And skims by the right lip. So Gore will finish off a solid round, 3 under par unofficially. And now Mac Murphy will have this left for par. Quickly, we will go over to 9. This is Max Herman of Georgia State with his second shot in here to the 9th green. And he's going to be just off on the fringe on the right side. That's still handy, a good location. On 18, Mac Murphy misses his putt. He'll take a bogey here to finish up play as their teammates will already headed in behind them on the 18th fairway. Back will go over to the 9th. This is Matthew Cole of Arkansas State. Cole's 3 over through his first 14 holes today. A birdie, 2 bogeys, and he double bogeyed the 18th coming in on the other side. His birdie came at the par 4 15th hole. Since then, he has strung pars together after opening at 1 and 2 with bogeys on this side. Cole opened with an 82, but improved to a 73 yesterday. Right now standing at 3 over for the day. Playing in the number 4 position. Long iron in here to number 9. Number 9 playing at 460 yards. Difficult par 4 at any hole location, but this one's a little bit easier than the others. And he's on the green, flirted with the water again, but he'll be on the putting surface. Still trickling, finally comes to a stop right there on the edge. So 3 with putts here at the 9th, all 3 with birdie putts, some easier than others. And you see that group that's got 3 balls on the green. This is the group over at 18, or rather, yes, finishing at 18. On the fairway right now, hitting their second shots. This is Nick Thornton of UT Arlington with his second, and he's over next to the trees, but he's got an open shot. Drop down in between, and he'll have a pretty good run at it up and down for par here. He's 1 over with 3 birdies on his card today. As we go back to the 9th hole, And this is Max Herman, just off the fringe. He may go ahead and putt since he's off the fringe, even though it does look like Matthew Cole is further away as he's way over here on the right side of the back to the 18th fairway. Dean Martin is in the middle. I don't know, they're looking around waiting for something, maybe waiting for the wind to die down just a little bit. This is the number 3 players from these 3 schools. Looks like it will be Martin to hit first. Junior from Johannesburg, South Africa. Two over for the day. He had 3 birdies on the front, but also had 4 bogeys, and he's 1 over on the backside. As we'll whip around the course on the tee at number 9, hitting his tee shot. That's Nathan Williams of Georgia State. Back out on the fairway at 18, top right of your screen, Guillaume Fananel of ULM with his second shot. And Fananel finds the green, and he'll have a good run at birdie. And you see Dean Martin coming in from the other side. And Nick Thornton had to go out and hit a second tee shot, so he's lying 3 where he is actually lying 4 next to the green. He'll be hitting his 5th shot. At number 9, this is Logan Pate of Little Rock. Logan's got a solid round going, 4 under par today through his first 15 holes. No bogeys on his card, 4 birdies for the day. So a very good round for Pate after opening at 79-75, looking at a round in the 60s. And his 3rd shot's going to slide by a little bit more than he thought. A little more than he hoped, and he's going to, at least he'll be going back uphill at it for his par. And now they'll pull the flag for Max Herman. About 4 or 5 feet off in the fringe. Max is 5 under for the day. This group's got some great scores. 6 birdies on Herman's card, but his birdie putt's going to come up well short. He'll still have some work to do for par. Max with birdies at 10, 11, 12, 15, 17, and 2, with only a bogey at 16 marring his card. So he and Logan Pate both with very solid final rounds going. Matthew Cole struggling a little bit more, although he's got mostly pars, but he's got that double on 18 when he went 4 over in a series of about 3 holes. And this is Matthew Cole. Has strung nothing but pars together since bogeying the 1st and 2nd on this side. And Cole's run at a birdie, that's going to run well past. And he's got a long, long par putt coming back. This is Nick Thornton, and this is actually his 4th shot after he had to go back and hit another tee ball, and this one's going to roll right up to the edge, so Thornton will be able to kick that one in. And just finished up here live, but he'll finish with a 5 after he had to hit a second tee ball. Actually finish up with a 6 with the return to the tee, as Dean Martin at Troy may be under some ground under repair. It looks like he's having to mark his ball. While they're doing that, we'll go back over to the 9th hole, and this is the par putt of Matthew Cole, who had a birdie putt that went way past, and he'll have that left for a 3-putt bogey for his final hole. So he must be in a spot that's under repair. So they measured with the with the club, and now he'll drop and play it from that point. No penalty there, since it's an area that's marked off as being under repair. So Martin will be hitting his third shot. Over to the ninth, and this is Logan Pate of Little Rock. Pate is 4 under for the day, as we said earlier. He's got a really solid round going. No bogeys on his round. And now just saying for that one to settle, as that's going to roll well past. Back over to the 18th, Dean Martin with his chip. And got the drop from the ground under repair and taking advantage of the slope of the green and rolling it over very nicely within about 3 feet. Every shot becoming more and more important as we get down toward the end as far as the team race goes. Top 4 teams will keep playing tomorrow. And right now those top 4 are Coastal Carolina, UT Arlington, South Alabama, and Georgia Southern. And tied for 5th right behind them is Louisiana and Appalachian State, and they are both only 2 shots back of getting at that 4th spot. So it's going to be close the rest of the way. Over at the 9th, this is Logan Pate trying to save par, and he rolls it in. He's got a bogey-free round today. So nice round for Logan Pate, as at the top right, Guillaume Fananel unable to get his birdie putt to go, and he'll finish up with a par. Out of the ground under repair, it'll be Dean Martin trying to finish up here, top right of your screen for Troy. As on the 9th tee, the next group waiting for action over there. This will be for par for Martin. Started out 73-74. He was tied for 16th going into play today. Right now tied for 23rd, 2 over par for the day. And knew he missed it when he hit it. Pushed it out to the right, and Dean Martin will take a bogey here at the 18th. So a couple of disappointing finishes here at 18 for this group. We'll go over to the 9th. And this is Nathan Williams with his second shot for Georgia State. Of course, had the hole-in-one yesterday during play as he brings his shot in at the 9th, and this is flirting with the water on the left side, and that's been a place where a lot of players have been, and you can see his disappointment as it looks like he might have found the water on the left side. And these guys know how important every shot is coming down the stretch. Daniel Durasic of Little Rock on the right side of your screen. He'll be hitting his second shot. Durasic is 2 under par for the day. 2 birdies, no bogeys on his card. As you see, our number 3 players for these 3 teams, 2 juniors and a sophomore. They're in the fairway at number 9. Durasic opened at 80-74, but he's working on a 2 under round right now without a bogey. And here he is for his second shot. Starting it out right, trying to bring it in, bring it around, and it's going to stay out to the right. And he wasn't happy with that one. And he's way long. You can see his ball back here again in the amongst the pine trees and the pine cones and past the cart path and just basically where you don't want to be. So he'll have an interesting up and down from there. As that's Jacob Barres, who's already hit his second shot, and now he's got his third from way back here. He's also past the cart path. So the number 9 green could be an adventure as we'll go back to the number 9 tee box. Tiago Lobo of Little Rock hitting his tee shot here at the 18th. Lobo is 1 under par for the day. Some solid scores from Little Rock. 3 birdies, 2 bogeys so far today. The Trojans just put themselves too far behind in their first couple of rounds. Tee ball of Nick Budd for Georgia State. And he'll be followed quickly by Gianluca Stern of Arkansas State. Stern is even par for the day through 14 holes, 3 birdies, 3 bogeys. Nick Budd of Georgia State is 5 over for the day. Got a triple and a double on his card. That's Gianluca Stern at the bottom left of your screen. Bottom right, this is his teammate Jacob Barres playing out of the trees. And the top left of your screen as we look back over a quick look at 18. That's Caleb Masters of UTA. With his tee ball. Top left again, Paul Gonzalez of UTA. Caleb is 4 over par for the day. Gonzalez right now standing at 1 under. It's him on the tee here at 18. 3 birdies, 2 bogeys. You started off with a birdie at number 1 that we saw earlier in our coverage today. He opened up at 72, had a 74 yesterday, and right now working on a subpar round through 15 holes. See him starting it to the right, taking some of the dog leg away. And third to hit here is going to be Max Catherine of ULM. Catherine's 2 under par through 15 holes. He's got 6 birdies on his card, but really hurt himself with a triple bogey 8 at the par 5 11th. Catherine with his tee ball as we're going to go back over to the 9th hole. And this is Jacob Barres of Arkansas State, who is past the cart path in play. Daniel Durasic is even farther past the path. He's well over off to the left-hand side of your screen. And Barres is going to go pace this one off and take a look at it. That's Daniel Durasic on your right. Trying to decide where his landing location would be, as he is well back here in the, it's not out of bounds back here behind 9, but it's also not very easy, and plus to try to stop it because that water also looms behind the pin if you don't stop it somewhere around the pin, if you run it past, you bring that water into play from that side of the green. So Daniel Durasic with a difficult shot here for his last full swing of the par 4 ninth hole, and likely his last full swing of the tournament, since Little Rock currently stands in 12th place in the team standings. Top 4 teams will advance and will move to the match play tomorrow morning. The other 8 teams will likely have their season end unless one of them does get an at-large bid into the NCAA tournament. And Durasic with the landing up on the fringe, and that's not going to make the putting surface. It'll trickle down to the edge, which is not a bad place to be. It beats the alternative of being long from the location he was at. And now Jacob Barres quickly with his shot, and he's going to be just about the mate there, but that one's going to trickle up on the putting surface, and Barres will have a little bit better run at it, as they will both be putting for par here. And on the other side of the green, this is Nathan Williams of Georgia State, and this is for his birdie as he's chipping up. He hit into the water and dropped, and so he's hitting his 4th shot here. Nice up, though, and he'll be able to kick in for a bogey here at his final hole. Back out to the 18 fairway. And this is Max Catherine of ULM. Didn't quite cut off as much as some of the other players. Quickly go across the fairway. This is Caleb Masters of Troy. Yes, he's going to go ahead and hit, although it looked like he's closer in, but maybe not from the angle that we're at. So Caleb Masters will be first to hit here. Opened up 73-73, but today's been a little bit more of a struggle. He's got a double on his card along with 3 bogeys. He did birdie the par 4 second hole early in his round, but since then has gone 5 over par. Was trying to get into the top 10 for the 3rd straight time, but doesn't look like he's going to get there. He's currently tied for 26th. His second shot, though, will find the area right next to the putting surface, and he will have a long run at a birdie. We go back to 18, or 9 rather, and this is Daniel Durasic of Little Rock, who played out of the woods and has that left at 18. This Paul Gonzalez or Max Catherine one has found the tree area on the right side. That was Max Catherine of UL Monroe. Quickly back to the 9th, Daniel Durasic, and this is for par. He was well back in the pine straw just a moment ago. Pins on the right side, much more accessible for these players, and Durasic's run at a par just trickles by, and he'll settle for bogey on his final hole. Back over to the 18th. This is Paul Gonzalez getting set to hit his second shot in here to the 18th green. Gonzalez 1 under for the day, 3 over for the tournament, currently tied for 12th individually. His second shot coming right at the sticks, going to back up just a little bit. It's going to actually roll back off the putting surface, but he'll have an uphill run at a birdie to finish things off. Jacob Barres with his bogey putt that won't go, and he's going to end up with a double bogey after he was back in the pine straw to finish things up, and he's going to get rid of that golf ball. So, quickly we'll go back over to 18. Caleb Masters you saw walking by, and this will be Max Catherine who will be pacing it up. He's over in the tree area or next to the 18th green, and there you see our group that is making its way up to 18. Paul Gonzalez of UTA, Max Catherine of ULM, 2 freshmen, and the junior Caleb Masters, who's playing in his 3rd Sun Belt Conference tournament. And you see where Catherine is. The trees might not be as much in his way as that shot may look. He may be able to go in front of them and have some kind of line to the pin, or he may just be trying to aim for the front of the green to try to get on the putting surface. Catherine is 2 under par through his first 15 today. 6 birdies on his card, 1 bogey, but he did take a triple bogey 8 at the par 5 11th. As this one, again, he only had the line to try to get it on the front of the green, but that's a great shot by Max Catherine from there. Hole high, and won't have much work to do to try to save par. Go back out into the fairway here at number 9, bottom left of your screen, bottom right of your screen rather. That is Tiago Lobo of Little Rock with his second shot coming in here to number 9, and it's just going to be off on the right side. It's going to trickle down into the swale over there, and he'll be trying to up and down from there for his par. We look at the 18th green, and Caleb Masters, junior from Headland, Alabama, tied for 2nd here as a freshman in 2016 when he shot .210, and then tied for 6th last year as a sophomore when he shot .215. His long birdie putt is going to come up well short. Bottom right, group's heading up toward the number 9 green. And that means we're back at the tee. That's Severin Solar of Georgia State with his tee shot on the 9th. Top right, Paul Gonzalez of UTA, lining up his putt from just off the front. This will be for birdie for Gonzalez. See the breeze is starting to kick up here in the afternoon as Gonzalez rolls this one at it and gets that one to drop. So a birdie on the final hole for Gonzalez. And UTA trying to finish strong and grab a place in the match play tomorrow. The Mavericks are currently in good position for that, as we'll go back to number 9. Nick Budd of Georgia State there in the blue. On the left is Tiago Lobo, rather on the right, Tiago Lobo of Little Rock will go to 18. And this is Caleb Masters with his par putt, and it's going to slide by. So disappointing bogey for Masters. Back to the 9th. And Gianluca Stern with his third shot. All three of the players missing the green to the right. That's the safe place. That's the bailout place. But Lucas Stern would have liked to have gotten that one a lot closer, and he'll have that left for his par. On the 18th, Max Catherine rolls in his par putt, and that's a great par from where he was over behind the trees on the right side. Back to the 9th. This is Lobo of Little Rock with his third shot chip, and he's left himself just a tap in for a closing par. We'll go to number 18, Aaron Guanlao of UT Arlington. Safe on with his tee shot. Didn't try to take too much of the dog leg away. And Connor Futrell of Troy will be next up. Futrell had a 69 yesterday and follows that up right now with an even par round, 3 birdies and 3 bogeys. Back to 18, rather to 9, and this is the chip of, like, from Nick Budd, and he's also coming up well short. So a couple players with some long par putts here. As quickly over to 18. That was Connor Futrell of Troy. And now Joe Garral of ULM, who was tied for second coming into today. Had opening rounds of 70 and 69. Garral right now, though, today 4 over par. He's got 6 bogeys and a double to go with 4 birdies. So a rainbow of a card for the sophomore from Lisbon, Portugal, and he's safely on with his tee shot here at the 18th. Back to 9, Gianluca Stern trying to save par. His chip came up pretty much well short. And his par putt is just going to stop on the lip. And so Gianluca Stern with a bogey to finish play up here at the 9th. And now it'll be Nick Budd, who has not quite as long a putt. That's Tiago Lobo on the far right of your screen. He just has a short tap in for his par. Nick Budd has a little more work to do here on the 9th. The junior from Woodstock, Georgia. 5 over par for the day. And his par putt's going to slide by. So Nick Budd, just like Gianluca Stern, going to finish up with a disappointing bogey after being close to the green. And Lobo will tap in for his par here to finish things off for that group. The number 2 players for their 3 schools and their teammates, the number 1s, are in the group behind them on 9. On 18, the group that's already hit and is heading their way up to the green. A senior, a sophomore, and a freshman. And again, all of these teams trying to get into contention. ULM still tied for 6th in the team race, so they've still got a shot at getting into that top 4. Troy's fallen back to 10th place, but still not a lot of shots separating these teams. So this is going to pretty much come down to the very end when we figure out who is going to advance to match play tomorrow. And these, the number 1 players for their teams as they will work their way down the fairway. That's Connor Futrell in the red cap. Joe Garau of ULM on the right side of your screen as we go over to number 9. This is Tanner Napier of Arkansas State with his second shot in at the 9th. And that's going to be well short and well out to the right. So Napier with a tricky up and down to finish up for par. So we're back out in the fairway at 18. Before that, we'll go back to the 9th. And this is Justin Warren having to play out of the trees for Little Rock. And his shot's going to be well off to the right. Probably was blocked trying to get there as he had pushed his tee shot to the left. And he'll also have a pretty interesting up and down here on the last hole. All 3 players in the fairway here at the 18th as we go back to the 9th. And Severin Soller of Georgia State, the junior from Munich, Germany, with his second shot coming in. And he's missed it off to the right. So a little bit closer than a couple of the others. But the players, a lot of them taking the safe landing area on the right side of this green. Par is not a bad score. In fact, par's a really good score at number 9, especially these last 3 days. Aaron Guanlau of UT Arlington with his second shot into the 18th green. And he's going to go long, and it's going to stay right there on the fringe. Guanlau will have a long distance putt. We'll go to the 9th. This is Jack Tolson of Louisiana. And the Louisiana team's also making a run to try to get into the top 4 as Tolson hits his tee ball. Right now they are tied for 6. Tolson is 3 under par for the day. No bogeys and 3 birdies. Back to the 18th. And that was Joe Garau of ULM. And he's just handy on the right side. Back to the 9th. Second member of this first grouping of these 3 schools. Chance Watson of Appalachian State. They are currently 5th in the chase for the top 4 and only 2 strokes out of that number 4 spot. And Watson is 1 under for the day. He's got 3 birdies and 2 bogeys. Watson opened with an 88, 77, improved 2 in his second round. Starts this one well out on the right side. Third member of this group, Jason Mendel of South Alabama. Before he hits, we'll quickly go over to 18. Or we'll stay here and see Mendel's tee shot. Mendel 2 under for the day. He's got 5 birdies, but got a double bogey and a bogey on his card today. Connor Futrell of Troy trying to pick a club here in the 18th fairway as the wind is starting to kick up just a little bit. You see the flag blowing around and you see some of the limbs in the background. It was pretty much dead still for most of today's play, but the wind's starting to kick up here in the afternoons. And Futrell, who shot 69 yesterday after an opening 76. And his second shot's going to find the putting surface, and he'll have a downhill run at a closing birdie. Over to number 9. Third shot for Justin Warren as he was well out to the right. And he would probably have liked more out of that than he got. He'll still have about 10 to 12 feet left for par. All three of the players in this group missing to the right. The safe side, Severin Soller of Georgia State with his third shot coming. Soller's 3 under par today. No bogeys on his card, 3 birdies. 2 birdies here on the front side, his final 9 holes. His third shot's also just going to trickle up, and he'll still have some work to do to finish with a par. Over to the 18th, Joe Garral of ULM. Looks like he was might have caught up in the fringe just a little bit, but rolled out pretty good, and he's only going to have 3 or 4 feet left for a par from the right side of the green. Corral 4 over par for the day, and you see how the 18th has played through the first 2 days. Those numbers for each category are through 2 rounds. The stroke average is from yesterday's round, as that's Aaron Guanlau from the back of the green over to number 10 quickly, or to number 9 rather, and Justin Warren finishing up with his par putt, rolling it in and still getting rid of that ball. Warren finishes up 5 over par for the day, and that's how number 9 is played. Very, very difficult. 2 birdies through the first 2 days here. Aaron Guanlau from off the back of the green at 18 with his third shot. Pretty good lag from way back there. He'll have about 3 feet remaining. Severin Soller of Georgia State rolling in his par putt here at the 9th after missing the green to the right. And now Tanner Napier of Arkansas State will try to do the same. Napier was even par through 14 with 3 birdies and 3 bogeys, trying to finish up with a par here. And Napier bangs in his par putt to finish off his round. Even par round for Arkansas State. We'll go back to the 9th, or rather the 18th. This is Connor Futrell of Troy looking at a birdie putt. Oh, I'm sorry, this is his par putt as he had missed the green over on the right. These are the number 1 players for these 3 schools, and as soon as they finish, fairly soon after they finish, we'll have an idea of what their team score is, and we'll get a chance to more closely define this team race that is absolutely looks like it's going to come down to the very end. Futrell's par putt's going to slide by and keep sliding by. He's going to leave himself about 3 more feet coming back. Aaron Guanlau of UT Arlington will be next up, working on a subpar round, trying to save par from way in the back of the green. He's got 4 birdies, 1 bogey, and 1 double today to stand at 1 under through his first 15 holes. He's able to save par here at the 18th. And Joe Garau of ULM also be trying to save par here. Garau's able to roll his putt in on the 18th. Connor Futrell now trying to salvage bogey here after missing the green to the right. Running his par putt about 3 or 4 feet past. And those 3 schools have finished up play, and we'll start getting at the team scores as we'll go back to 18. And our first groups of this final grouping, Lucas Alaculpi of Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern trying to stay in this race for one of those top 4 spots. Alaculpi's 4 over par. He had 2 doubles on the front side, but he's played the backside in 2 under. He had birdies at the 12th and the 14th holes. So he's safely in the fairway. And Inigo Benarin of Texas State. Texas State may have shot itself out of a team spot after coming into today's play ranked 3rd in the standings. 5 over par for Benarin today without a birdie. After going 75-79 in the first 2 rounds, and hitting 3rd in this group is Daniel Overis of Coastal Carolina. They've locked up a spot in the match play. Overis with 5 birdies on his card, but he also has a quadruple bogey 8 at the par 4 13th. So that wiped out 4 of those birdies, and he's back to even through 15. The junior from Vestas, Norway, with his tee ball. And to the 9th hole quickly, Chance Watson in the fairway with his second shot here at the par 4 9th, and he's going to miss to the right, as a lot of players have. That's the safe place to be here. Jason Mendel of South Alabama, his tee shot on the left side of the fairway, and that brings the water a little bit more into play for him. Mendel shot 76-80 in his first 2 rounds. South Alabama currently in 2nd place in the team standings, but those can change quickly. Mendel 2 under par for the day. 5 birdies, but a double and a regular bogey leaves him at 2 under. 2 under through 14 holes. So much better than his first 2 rounds when he went 76-80. And his second shot here at the 9th is safely on the putting surface. And he'll be coming at it from a different direction for his birdie, as Daniel Overis on the number 1 tee. Jack Tolson of Louisiana hitting his second shot into the 9th green. And that's going to check up right there. And a nice ball by Tolson, who was 3 under par for the day last that I looked. And you see our first group representing these three schools, and Tolson is still at 3 under through 14 holes. No bogeys on his card today. 3 birdies and trying to get a 4th one here. He's got a run at it here on the par 4 9th hole. Back to the tee box at the 9th, and this is Walter Brinker of Appalachian State. You can see the wind continuing to kick here as he's the 3rd guy in this group. Brooks Rayburn of South Alabama and Bjorn Gudjonsson of Louisiana have already hit off the 9 tee. Go back to the 9 green. Tolson's ball as he marks there and clears the way for Mendel, who's got a little bit longer putt. And Watson is off the green on the right side, but still handy. He'll probably be first to hit, and he'll still be putting through probably about 6 or 8 feet of fringe. Watson had a disappointing 88 in his first round, but came back with a 77 in the second round. But he will be disappointed in that putt, and he'll still have a lot of yardage between him and the cup for a par. Jason Mendel of South Alabama, 2 under par for the day. Birdied 4 of his first 8 holes before he double bogeyed the 18th. Making his 4th appearance in the conference tournament. Tied for 37th, tied for 32nd his first 2 years, and then tied for 13th last year when he had very solid 73, 73, 71 rounds. Number 5 players for the final groupings at the top right of your screen on the coming up the 18th fairway. Jason Mendel of South Alabama, bottom right of your screen. Long birdie putt. Trying to turn it. Turned it a little too much as it's going to trickle over about 1.5 feet left for par. And now we'll see if Tolson can go to school a little bit on Mendel's putt here on the 9th. Top right of your screen on the 18th fairway. This is Lucas Alacolpi is over pretty far back on the 18th. There's a long way in to come to this green. Actually caught the bunker on the left side of the fairway, and this one's bending over to the right, and lost it somewhere on the right side. In fact, he's found the bunker again. So going beach to beach here at 18, and Alacolpi was going to be a difficult bunker shot for his 3rd. Back to the 9th, Jack Tolson of Louisiana. And he's going to leave it out to the left, and that thing's going to roll and keep rolling. And he's left himself about 4 or 5 feet for par here at the 18th. Chance Watson of Appalachian State will have this for par after he missed the green on the right. Appalachian State right now 5th in the team standings, 2 strokes out of that magic number 4 spot. So again, could be a very important stroke for Watson, who is 1 under for the day and comes up short for that par putt. So Watson takes a bogey and he drops back to even par for the day. Now Tolson will be trying to save par. Louisiana is 5 strokes back of the number 4 spot. So again, could be an important stroke for Tolson to try to save par. And drops that one in on the 9th. Meanwhile, on the 18th, that was Daniel Overis of Coastal Carolina with his second shot. And now Inigo Benarin of Texas State, top right of your screen, getting set to hit his second at the 18th. And Benarin's ball is off to the left, and he has found the water here at 18. So Inigo Benarin of Texas State is in the wet stuff at the 18 green. At the 9T, States Fort of Coastal Carolina. 67 yesterday, 5 under par today. He has, in fact, he's got all 5 of his birdies on the backside. He's birdied 10, 11, 13, 14, and 15. Everything else is pars. He had perfect pars on the first 9, and 5 of his first 6 on the backside have been birdies. So a hot back 9 for States Fort, as you saw him at his tee ball. And Georgia Southern's Jacob Bayer. Georgia Southern currently tied for 3rd in the team race. As we come down the stretch, Bayer is 7 over par. Couple of doubles and a triple on his card, along with 3 birdies. And Calvin Ross of Texas State. Texas State, as we said, started out 3rd today in the team race. They're now down to 11th. And they pretty much killed their chances to get into the match play. 2 birdies, 4 bogeys, and a double bogey for Calvin Ross in his 4 over par through 15 holes. Near the 18th green, this is Alaculpi with his 3rd shot. He's been in 2 bunkers here on 18. He hit the fairway bunker with his drive and put his 2nd shot here on the right-hand bunker. A little bit of a awkward downhill stance. Pretty good out, though. It'll almost lift the cup. It's going to roll right off to the edge, and he'll have that left for par. Over to 9, this is Walter Brinker, and this is actually his 3rd shot. He was in the woods off the tee, had to punch out to the middle of the fairway. So this is his 3rd shot. Hits it right over the flag, pulls it back. So he has a chance to salvage par here at the 9th. Right next to him, Bjorn Gudjonsson of Louisiana. Bjorn is 1 under par for the day. He had 5 birdies after he opened up with that double bogey at the 10th that we saw early in our coverage, but then he followed that with 5 birdies out of the next 7 holes, and he is 1 over for this front side. So for the day, he is 1 under par. And his second shot coming in, catching the back of the green and rolling back up, bringing it back in. Pretty good shot for Gudjonson, and he'll have that for birdie here at the final hole. That's Brinker's ball, just past his, closer in, but that's for par for Brinker since he had to punch out of the woods. And Brooks Rayburn on the left side of your screen, he stands there in 2, and he's got a little bit of a longer birdie putt. Once again, a reminder, you can get the live scoring online at golfstat.com, and it's also the official scoring as soon as possible after the conclusion of play. And you can follow along, which is at what is going to be a very close team race for those last 3 spots in the match play. To the 18th, and Inigo Benerin of Texas State with his 4th shot after he found the water and had to make a drop. So the Texas State sophomore will have that left for a bogey. Daniel Overis of Coastal Carolina. Even par today through 15 holes. 5 birdies, but a quadruple bogey just a few holes ago back on the 13th. Overis had to hit a second tee ball here, so that was his 5th shot. So he'll take a, what we think's a double bogey here at the 18th. At the 9th, this is Bjorn Gudjonson, and this is for birdie here at the 9th. And that's going to slide by the left, and a lot of players are doing that same thing. It's going to slide way past to the left. That putt breaks a little more than everybody's reading it, and then it takes that slope and just heads down. This is Alaculpi of Georgia Southern with his par save putt. And now Inigo Benerin of Texas State found the water with his approach shot. So this is to salvage a bogey. Nicely done for the bogey putt for Benerin. After hitting into the water. Gudjonson of Louisiana short on his putt, so a 3-putt bogey on the final hole, and you can see his disappointment in that. At 18, Overis of Coastal Carolina. Finishing up with a double bogey after hitting a second tee ball. To the 9th, Brooks Rayburn of South Alabama, and he lips that one out. So some tough going here on the 9th. As now Walter Brinker has this one for par. Brinker 1 under for the day. Rolls in a par putt. 3 birdies, 2 bogeys on his card. Back to 18. This is States Fort, Coastal Carolina, with his second shot in here. And he's on the nice grass, and he'll have a birdie putt here at the 18th. Right next to him, Jacob Bayer. His second's right at the flag. It's going to stick right there, and he'll have a straight downhill putt from just about 8 feet for his birdie. And now Calvin Ross of Texas State, after 2 good shots in this group. Starts it out a little bit right of the flag, bending more right, and he's going to miss the green on the right side, but it's open there, and he'll have a chance at an up and down par to finish up. Our number 4 players for these 3 schools making their way up here at 18. One off the green and a couple of decent birdie runs here. Jacob Bayer of Georgia Southern has the best shot at a birdie. Top 4 teams in the final standings after today's round will move on to the match play portion. That will begin tomorrow morning, not long after dawn, as we'll play the semifinals. 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. The 2 survivors of those will play in the afternoon. Another match play round, championship finals for the conference title and the league's automatic berth into the NCAA championships. We go back to number 9. This is Yannick Schutz from the fairway. His second shot is going to carry long. It's going to trickle back right next to the putting surface. He'll have that left. With his third shot. Schutz right now even par through his first 14 today. 3 birdies, a double, and he had a double bogey at the par 4 14th. This is Peter Hennett of Louisiana walking up, walking well to the right. And we had a report that his ball's somewhere around that golf cart. So we'll have to wait and see where Hennett will be hitting from. Quickly, while they figure that out, we'll go back to 18, and Calvin Ross, this is for birdie from off the back fringe. Coming on down the hill, he's going to leave it about 4 feet short, and he'll have that left to close out with a par. And now they've got a rules official over there, and Hennett's ball either rolled under or into that cart. I guess that would be the exact definition of a movable obstruction. And they're going to move the cart out of the way, and there's his ball. So they'll clear a path to the green, and Peter Hennett will be hitting his third shot here at the ninth. States Ford of Coastal Carolina. He's got a birdie run here at the 18th. Coastal's pretty much locked up its spot in the match play. The rest of them, well, there's still some wiggle room for everybody else. UT Arlington is already in with an 871 score. Tied for third with Georgia Southern. That 871 is 19 over. Georgia Southern is 19 over. South Alabama currently second at 18 over. But there are a couple of other schools there right behind. Appalachian State's in fifth place at 22. States Fort with his birdie run here at the 18th. That's going to come up just a couple inches short. He'll tap that in for his closing par, and he'll be playing again tomorrow in the match play portion. Nobody else is certain for as of right now, as Jacob Bayer of Georgia Southern. Struggled today for Jacob, 7 over par through 15 holes. And his struggles continue as his birdie putt's going to slide by, and he'll tap that in for a closing par. A triple and 2 doubles on Jacob Bayer's card today, as this is Peter Hennett over at the 18th, at the 9th hole rather. Hennett hit his second shot over past the green, and hitting his third from here back past the cart path. Bringing it up on the green, and that's got to check up. It's going to hit the slope over there. It's going to go long, but it's going to, looks like, hold the putting surface, and it will. And he'll have that left for a par as we go back to the 18th. And the par attempt of Calvin Ross slides by after he missed the green, and he'll have that left for a bogey. And a bogey to finish there. Back over to number 9, Yannick Schutz of South Alabama, along with his second shot. This is his third. This is for birdie from a long way away for the sophomore from Friolsheim, Germany. Look at that bend, and just sliding by and going to go a couple feet past. Have that left for a par. Schutz is even on the day through his first 14. Back to the 18 tee. This is Stephen Fisk, our defending individual champion from Georgia Southern. Back over to the 9th. This is Candler Rice's third shot after he hit his second shot to the back left part of the green. On the 18th tee, Coastal Carolina's Luis Ruiz. 1 over par today after shooting 72-75 his first 2 rounds. He was 1 under par going to the 14th, but he took a double bogey 6 there. Came back with a par, or rather a birdie at the 15th. So Ruiz cuts off some of the dog leg. And Logan Lockwood of Texas State. 1 over through his first 15 today. He's got 4 birdies, 3 bogeys, and a double bogey on his card. And I'll give you a hint as to where the double bogey came. The 9th hole has been a terror all week long. Logan puts that one straight down the fairway. He'll be safe there. At the 9th, Hennett missed his comebacker for par and had to tap in for bogey. And now Candler Rice trying to save par here. Appalachian State right now 5th in the team race. And that could be an important putt for Candler Rice to try to get in that top 4. We'll have to see what happens. And, you know, he knows the importance of that. He's going to say, give us a little fist pump. And now Peter Hennett will be, he'll have this for a bogey after he was long with his putt after coming out of the behind the cart path here out of the pine straw. Still, you see how tough number 9 is played, and Hennett's going to roll that one past, and he's going to take a double bogey 6 here, and that's not what the Louisiana team needed, as they still had outside hopes of getting into that top 4. Yannick Schutz of South Alabama. They look like they're pretty solid in second place right now. Team is 7 under par for the day, so they're 3 of their players under par for the Jaguars. So it looks like they will be advancing to that final 4 as Schutz rattles in that putt. And now Hennett needs this for double bogey. And Hennett with a disappointing double bogey to finish up here at the 9th. On the 9th tee, this is our final group of the day on 9. And it'll be Trip Summerlin waiting to hit, as the group in front of them still out in the fairway here at the 9th. Our final group, 2 sophomores and a freshman. Rasmus Carlson of South Alabama joining Summerlin, and Cole Kendrick of Louisiana. We'll go back to the fairway. This is Tristan Elston of Louisiana with his second shot here in the 9th, and he's missed over to the right. A lot of players, again, playing it over to the right to take that water out of play. Elston, solid round going. He is 1 under par. Took a triple bogey 8 on the par 5 17th, but he's had 2 birdies since then. 4 birdies total on the day for the junior from Baton Rouge. And this will be Alex Burris of Appalachian State, junior from Greensboro, North Carolina. Even par for the day through his first 14. A lot of pars today. He's got 1 birdie, 1 bogey. Everything else is pars. Burris in the bottom right of your screen with his second shot here at number 9. Meanwhile, at the top right of your screen, as Burris misses off to the right, Luis Ruiz is in the fairway at number 18. Top right of your screen, that's him in the teal colored shirt. Bottom right is Peter Stalbo of South Alabama. I don't know if that's his tee shot or not, but if it is, it's a big one. Oh, must have been, because he got a full swing at this one. Now, that had to be his 3rd shot, because he was way close to the green. And this one's going to back up and pull off to the left side. As you saw Ruiz's shot come in here at 18 at the top of your screen, and Logan Lockwood of Texas State at the top right. Tee shot on number 9 for Tripp Summerlin. And also on 9, bottom left of your screen, Rasmus Carlson of South Alabama. In the fairway at 18 is Stephen Fisk of Georgia Southern, top right of your screen. And on the tee box, bottom left for Louisiana, that's Cole Kendrick. Kendrick's tee ball on the 9th. And on the 18th, top right, that's Stephen Fisk. And nice shot from Fisk just over the flagstick, and he'll have that remaining for a closing birdie here at the 18th. Over to the 9th. This is Tristan Elston of Louisiana with his 3rd shot. Played it out to the right, as have many of the players here. That takes the water out of play. It's pretty much the safe play. That one's going to check up a little bit, and Elston's going to leave himself about 6 to 8 feet for a closing par. Alex Burris of Appalachian State. We'll go back to the 18th quickly. And on the 18th tee, this is Archer Price of Georgia Southern. 69 yesterday, 2 over par so far today through 15 holes. He was 3 over. He just birdied the par 4 15th. Didn't take much time at that one. Hit it and knew it was good and walked away, as Logan Davis of Texas State will be next up. Davis struggling today after a 69 yesterday. He is 6 over par today. 7 bogeys on his card. Alex Burris of Appalachian State, that one's going to come up short. He's just about got the same putt Elston will have for par as on the 18 tee. This is Lockwood's tee shot, or rather Logan Davis's tee shot. And that's Logan Lockwood next to the green here at 18, and he'll have this, try to get this up and down for par. Lockwood 1 over par today. He's got 4 birdies on his card, but he's also got 3 bogeys and a double. The sophomore from Van, Texas, that is just going to triple on the putting surface and has left himself some real estate for a par here. At the 9th, Peter Stalbo of South Alabama missing out on his par putt. He'll have that left for a bogey. And now Alex Burris also be trying to save, as don't know. Nope, he won't. Thought Stalbo was going to go up there and tap in to finish up, but Burris will be up to putt. Check that. That was Stalbo's birdie putt, so he's got that little bit for par. Burris and Elston with a lot more yardage for par here. Elston's just about on the same line. And that one's going to come up a little short. So Burris with a bogey here at the 9th. And now Elston. Just about the same line that Burris had, just a little bit closer. This is to save par. And that one's going to go by the left lip. So a couple of disappointing bogeys for guys that both of their teams trying to sneak into that top 4. And now Stalbo trying to finish up his par here at the 9th. Number 2 players for these schools. And he gets his par to drop. Quickly over to the 18th. Ruiz's putt for birdie slides past, and he'll tap that in for his par. Lockwood has this bit of real estate left for par after he missed the green to the right. Lockwood had 77-75 his first two rounds, looking to better both of those, but he lets that par putt go by, and he'll have that left for a bogey as we go back to the fairway at number 9, Tripp Summerlin of Appalachian State. And this one's starting out way right. And just a miss hit there as it's going to roll over the fairway and over the cart path, and that's going to be over there in the pine cones, and that's going to be a really interesting up and down for Summerlin. That's Cole Kendrick of Louisiana out in the middle of the fairway. You see here our final group that's on the fairway here at number 9. Summerlin just let that shot get away from him on the right side. Kendrick about to hit his second, and Carlson farther over to the left side of the fairway as this is Kendrick's second shot coming in here at the 9th. And he's found the green, but a long way away. But he will be putting for birdie from deep on that end. Back to the 9th, Stephen Fisk. Trying to close out with a par. Slider downhill, and it's going to slide off to the right. And Fisk will close out with a bogey here at the 18th. Georgia Southern right now standing in 4th place in the team standings. And Rasmus Carlson of South Alabama on his way up, and I think he hit his second shot into the water. Off on the left side, so Carlson will have to come up and make a drop. Just thought we would have one more shot of the beach area here before we departed here. And there's our group that's working their way onto 18 right now. This is Thad O'Beckney of Coastal Carolina hitting his second shot from way back on the left side of the fairway, and he's going to come up just a little short. So he will sit there in 2. In the gold, that's Logan Davis out there as we'll go back over to the 9th. And this is Tripp Summerlin. He's got some cleanup to do over here before he hits his third shot. Archer Price of Georgia Southern with his second shot coming in, and that's going to trickle down, but it's going to hold up on the embankment, and he'll have that up and down for a closing par. So Beckney is short, Price is long, and now Logan Davis of Texas State will be trying to split the middle. Junior from Humble, Texas, struggling today, 6 over par. He's got 7 bogeys and 1 lone birdie. That birdie at the par 5 7th hole. These are the number 2 players for their schools. One more group behind them, and then we'll start taking a look at what's going to happen in this team race for those top 4 positions. As Davis's second shot is going to find the putting surface, and he did split the difference between those two, so he's safely on there in 2, and he'll have a birdie putt as we go quickly back over to 9, and Tripp Summerlin of Appalachian State, and this is his third shot. And that's going to chop out and go down in the swale there, and it's not going to make the putting surface, so he's going to hit his 4th. On the tee, this is from Georgia Southern, Jake Story, just hit his tee ball. This is the final group of the day here at the 18th hole. Alvaro Carroll Estrems of Texas State started the day tied for second, still tied for sixth, even though he is 4 over for today's round. He's got a couple of double bogeys on his round, but he birdied the 15th, so playing a little better here at the end. And he's got his drive out there here on the 18th hole. And now we'll go to our individual leader, and you can probably go ahead and crown him as our individual champion, as Morgan Deneen is 5 under for the day after a 63 yesterday. He's got 6 birdies and a lone bogey, and he's birdied 6 of the last 12 holes. He is 11 over for the tournament, and he has right now a 5-stroke lead unofficially coming to the final hole. We'll go to the tee box, or rather the green at 18. Thad Abeckney with his 3rd shot chip is up in kick-in range, so he'll finish up with a par. Just back on the tee, and Alvaro Carroll Estrems hit a 2nd tee ball here at the 18th. So that group will be headed down toward the green, and we'll go back to the 9th and Tripp Summerlin, and this is for par after he was in the woods in 2 and was short with his pitch out of there. So this is his 4th shot here, and it's going to come up short, and Summerlin will have that left for a par here at 18. Back at the 18 green, Archer Price. This is his 3rd shot after he was long in 2, but safely there in 2, as that ball looked for a minute like it might trickle down that embankment, but held up there. And this is his 3rd shot, putting off the back fringe. Nice speed from back there. Nicely done. He'll have a 2 or 3 feet past, and Price will have that left for par. Rasmus Carlson looking at his. But first it will be Tripp Summerlin. And this is for bogey. Carlson had to drop and play his 4th. Hit his 2nd shot into the water. Summerlin with a bogey putt, and that's going to skim past, and he'll be coming back for double bogey. As Logan Davis for a birdie here at 18, and it's going to slide by. Thought he had it as he leaned in. And he'll have that little bit left, and he'll tap that in for a closing par to finish up Texas State's competition in the tournament. As the Bobcats had a disappointing day after going into the day in 3rd place. They're going to wind up missing out on the match play. Back to number 9, Carlson, and this is for bogey after hitting his 2nd in the water, and is going to slide that one by. So not a lot of putts going in here at the end, and I don't know if it's going to make a difference in the team scores, but it well might. We will have to wait and see when they're all added up. And just a reminder that about 90 minutes after we finish our on-air here, we'll have a selection show for these teams who have made the top four, and we'll see who is going to play who in the match play, and that'll begin about 90 minutes after we finish here, and that'll be live on our YouTube and Facebook. You can like us there and get a notification when that happens as Cole Kendrick rolls in his par here at the 9th and over to the 18th. Logan Davis finishes up for his par. And now Thad O'Beckney will try to do the same thing. Over to the 9th, and this is Carlson, and this is for a double bogey for the South Alabama. And again, another ball goes out into the water. Now this is for double for Tripp Summerlin. So a struggle in this final group. Our final group of the day will be coming onto the tee here at 18 in just a couple of minutes. Or actually, they are coming onto the green in just a couple of minutes. They've already hit their tee balls. And they will be hitting their second shots in here at the 18th. That's Jake Story on the left side of your screen, and Alvaro Carroll Estrams of Texas State on the right side. You can get the updated scoring at golfstat.com and find out who's going to advance, who's going to move forward, and who's seen their season end here. The top four advance to the match play that will be tomorrow morning. And Alvaro Carroll Estrams of Texas State with his second shot. 4 over par for the day. Texas State is 17 over as a team today. Disappointing round for the Bobcats as Estrams has a couple of doubles on his card, a bogey at the 12th and a birdie at the 15th. Second shot for Alvaro Carroll Estrams, bending off to the right, but catching the right side of the putting surface. And he'll have that left for a closing birdie to close out what's been a disappointing day for him. Jake Story maybe checking his messages before he hits his shot. Second shot in for Jake Story. And Estrams, I'm sorry, yeah, he had to take another tee ball who just hit his second shot. So he will have that left for bogey. And Jake Story with his shot way off to the left side. And don't know if that's even in bounds or not. We'll have to see where the out of bounds stake is over there. Morgan Deneen of Coastal Carolina has already hit his second shot in here. And we'll make our way up to the green with the final group. Might have had to take a drop out of the water, and I don't know if we'll have to wait and see if he had to back up and take another run at that. Because he did not go back to the tee. He dropped from over there. Again, these scores that are on GolfStat Live are unofficial, but they're starting to become more and more official. Right now, Coastal, of course, still holding on to first place. South Alabama looks like a decent hold on second at 18 over. UT Arlington finishing up at 19 over, 871. Georgia Southern in fourth place at 20 over. Appalachian State in fifth right now at plus 22. Louisiana is sixth at plus 25, as you see our last group. That's making their way up to the 18th green, senior, junior. Coastal Carolina and Georgia Southern hoping, Coastal already in the match play. Georgia Southern hoping to hold on to get into a spot in the match play. Texas State season for Alvaro Carroll Estrems pretty much over, as they've dropped back out of the running for the Final Four. And apparently Jake Story is okay. He's in bounds. It's not okay, but he's in bounds. And he'll have a really difficult up over next to some of the houses here next to the 18th green. That's a good look at our leader, and we can go ahead and crown him our individual champion, I think, Morgan Deneen, since he's already safely hit his second shot. He'd have to take about a 6-putt here in order not to win the individual title. And his team definitely moving on, and they'll be the #1 seed for the Final Four match play competition tomorrow. That'll get underway shortly after sunrise with the semifinals. This is the third shot for Jake Story of Georgia Southern. He's even par through 15 today. 3 birdies, 3 bogeys. Birdied 2 of the first 3 holes of the day, and this third shot's going to come out hot. It's going to roll all the way over to the other side of the green. It will stay on the collar, so that's where he will hit his 4th from and have a long way to go for par. From the front edge, Morgan Deneen safely there in 2. And all he's got to do is pretty much tap things along to win the individual title, as his third shot is on the way. It's going to be about 6 inches past. He'll probably mark it and let everybody else finish so he can take the last shot at it. This is Estrems of Texas State. And this will be for bogey after he had to hit a second tee ball. This is our final group of the day here at 18. We pretty much know how the individual competition is coming out, as our champion is in this group. And we know that his team, Coastal Carolina, will move into the match play competition tomorrow. Everything else, likely we have to wait, although it looks pretty certain that South Alabama has got a spot in, but they finished on the backside, and we don't have the report from the last 4 holes, so that could still change a lot too. So we're not going to call anything else. This will be Jake Story, and this is his par putt after he missed way right with his second shot. Rolling it down handy, and he'll have a scrambling bogey here on the final hole if he can roll that little bit left in. And Estrems will be putting for bogey. And that's going to trickle past and just catch the right edge. So tough day for Alvaro Carroll Estrems, who came in tied for second. This will be story for bogey as they'll clear that out of the way, and our individual champion will take the last stroke here at 18. Morgan Deneen in his first year with Coastal as a senior was a part of Coastal's PGA golf management program for the first 3 years. Didn't join the varsity team until this year, and in his 1 year of play, he is the Sun Belt Conference individual champion. So the individual race is decided. All the scores are in, and now we'll just wait for them to be tallied, and we'll be able to let you know, hopefully before we go off the air with our live coverage, who the final four will be. Again, these will be unofficial, but they will be pretty close, as they'll all be on golfstat.com. You can get to that through the website. You also get to a link on the Sunbelt website for those final scoring. But there's still a lot of scores to be tallied. South Alabama right now unofficially in second place, but none of their scores have been put into the live scores over their final 4 holes. So a lot still to be determined here. However it does work, we will be back with our coverage tomorrow. Action will begin tomorrow morning at just not that long after sunrise. We won't know the official start time for a while, but the teams will play the semifinals tomorrow morning. The top seeded team, which that will be Coastal Carolina, they will play the number 4 team, and that's still, of course, to be determined. And also at the same time, the number 2 seed will play the number 3 seed, and those will all be match play. 5 players head to head. First team to win 3 matches will win those competitions, and the 2 winners from the morning of match play will advance to a championship round in the afternoon, and that will be head to head with our final 2 teams. And those 4, other than Coastal Carolina, still to be determined. And a lot of it will depend on the scores that have yet to be posted live. We'll try to update you as much as we can on those. But they're not very up to date, especially the ones that came in on the backside and finished up at 9. So that includes 3 of the 6 teams that are still in the hunt for one of those spots. South Alabama, Appalachian State, and Louisiana. They currently stand unofficially 2nd, 5th, and 6th. But again, no scores have officially been posted on any of those 3 teams' final 4 holes. And several players on those 3 teams had some struggles coming in, so we'll just have to wait and see. But the guy on the right, he didn't have any struggles at all in the last 2 rounds. Morgan Deneen with a opening 73. He was 2 over par. He was tied for 13th after the first round, but then with a 63 in the second round, one off the course record and the lowest score in recent memory in the Sun Belt Conference Championships. And today he was 5 under par through 15 holes. He parred 18 we know of. We don't know his scores on 16 and 17, but those will probably be posted and updated pretty quick, and we'll have an official final score for Morgan Deneen. But we know that he is the Sun Belt individual champion, and he'll be playing tomorrow, as Coastal Carolina will be the number 1 seed in the match play portion, and they'll play the number 4 seed. The number 4 seed yet to be determined. And the only thing we now have will be the agonizing wait for the scores to become official, and we will know who our final four are. And once again, a reminder that about 90 minutes after we finish our live coverage here, we'll have our selection show. The top four teams will announce who they will start and how they will line up. But that is our number one seed, Coastal Carolina, and that on that show will be part of the seedings, and the coaches will announce who their five will be as they'll line up for match play, and we'll figure out who Coastal Carolina will play in the number 4 1 versus 4 match. Scores still to be determined for 3 of our top 6 teams, really. The only score that's officially posted so far is UT Arlington, and they are listed with an 871 score, 871, and that would be 19 over par. And unofficially, they're in 3rd place right now. Coastal Carolina, as we said, still some scores to be posted there, 8 under par, but we know that they have gotten the team title. And actually, we never mentioned much about States Ford, who is playing for Coastal Carolina. He had 6 birdies on his backside today as he shoots 30 on the back. And he has the best score of the day, and that's after 9 straight pars on the front. And listen to his back. 3-4-3, 3-3-3, 3-4-4. That's about as good as it gets. A 30 on the backside after a 35 on the front. He finishes at 6 under par, 1 under for the tournament, and he's also going to finish in the top 5, unofficially right now, a top 4 score. So States Ford jumping from 16th, started out 49th, and this was a guy who shot 80 in the first round. 67 yesterday, and unofficially right now a 65 in the final round. It looks like Coastal Carolina will count a 6 under, a 5 under, a 1 over, and a 1 over in its final round today, as its 4 counting scores. 9 under par today for Coastal Carolina. And we've got some more scores that are now being posted as Georgia Southern is in, and they are tied at 19 under with UT Arlington, both at 871. ULM is officially in at 878. So it looks like, unless something drastically changes, we don't have scores in from Appalachian State yet, and they are in 6th place right now. But it looks like Coastal Carolina, South Alabama, UT Arlington, and Georgia Southern will be our top 4. Again, that is still very unofficial, still a lot of scores to be posted from South Alabama. ULM currently standing in 5th place. They are at 878, and their final scores have been posted. That is 26 over par. And we have 2 scores in at 19 under, and Coastal Carolina is going to come 19 over, and Coastal Carolina is going to come in, and their scores have now been officially posted. An 845 score, and they are in at 7 under par for their official scores. And still waiting for South Alabama to become official, and now South Alabama is official, and they have dropped down to 4th place, but they have made their way into the Final 4 as South Alabama officially comes in at 874, 23 over par. And UTA and Georgia Southern end up tied for 2nd, and they'll have to go through the tiebreaker procedure to figure out who plays. Actually, they're going to play each other, so it doesn't matter. They really, they may break the tie just for grins, but they'll play each other tomorrow, as they'll be the numbers 2 and 3 seeds. So we can tell you pretty much a final before the Secretary of State gives his official approval on the election, as Coastal Carolina is going to be the number 1 seed. They have finished up 7 under par, 845. They'll be the number 1 seed. They will take on the number 4 seed, South Alabama. They finish up at 23 over par, 874. They finish up with a 281 score for the day. They'll be in one of the match play matches. The second match play match will match 2 teams that tied each other exactly in the stroke play. UT Arlington finished up at 283 today. They finish up at 871. That is 19 over. Georgia Southern shoots 285 today. They also finish up at 19 over, 871. So our final 4 is set. Coastal Carolina against South Alabama, and UT Arlington against Georgia Southern. And a reminder, you can see the pairings, you can see our selection show, and that's going to come up in about 90 minutes here on our YouTube and Facebook. You can like us on Facebook, and you'll get a notification when that's about to start. Also on their Sunbelt Conference website, you can get all of the final scores, and you can also get that on golfstat.com. Once again, we'll be back tomorrow morning, and we'll have our final 4, the semifinal matches. Coastal Carolina against South Alabama, UT Arlington against Georgia Southern, and that will be tomorrow morning, not long after sunrise here at the Raven. This is going to close out our live coverage for round 3. Thanks to all the folks here at the Raven and the Sandestin Golf and Beach Resort for their help once again today. A big pat on the back again to our camera crew for another long day. One more long day, guys, coming up tomorrow. And, of course, also a big thanks to our director and producer, Travis Llewellyn of the Sunbelt Conference staff. For all of them, I'm Dan McDonald. Thanks for watching us on day 3. Come back tomorrow for day 4 and our final day of the 2018 Sunbelt Conference Men's Golf Championships.